We will now call the meeting to order. It's 7:10 for the Jamaica Selectboard. It is Monday, September 13th. And first item on the agenda is just, per usual, just call if there's any last minute quick, any additions to the agenda. Hearing none. All right, we'll move on. Next item is to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was August 23rd. And I'll take a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from August 23rd.
Second.
Seconded. I have nothing to add to. Any other comments, discussion?
No changes. Nice job, Sarah.
Beautiful. All in favor of approving the minutes from August 23rd, say aye. Aye. It is approved. Okay, and next item is Rob Simmons has asked to join the meeting. He's on via Zoom. I think the technical side of everything is all set up so that hopefully you can hear us. We did hear you before, so I think that side's good, and we will now turn it to you. And you should pop up on our screen here as you speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I did send a letter to you dated September 5th with regard to the subject of my interest. As you know, I've worked with you and your Board of Selectmen over the last year to try to figure out a way to get access to my property, having lost the Rawson Bridge, and it appears that the cost to me of trying to fix the bridge is more than I can afford, and I'm not getting any younger. And so I got in touch with the U.S. Forest Service, who owns property 1,200 acres adjacent to my property, and asked them if they were interested in purchasing my property, because my goal when I bought Sage Hill Camp 50 years ago was to keep the Green Mountains green. It was just that simple, and the only way I could afford to do it was with a stewardship forest under the UVA program, where I could generate some revenue over time to keep the property. But that simply is not happening. As a consequence of my decision to reach out to the Forest Service, I've sent them a letter expressing my interest in offering the property for sale to them. I've shared with them a documentation that goes to the title of the property, the deed that I have. I've shared with them that I have no liens on the property, that there is no mortgage or debt. There was a line of credit a year ago, but I've extinguished that. And then I've invited them to physically inspect the property. And this is all part of a 31 action item process that they follow to acquire property. Item number 4 requires me or the Forest Service to notify, and they say county commissioner, but what that means in Vermont is the municipality in which the property is located, and notify the congressional delegation. I have sent letters to Senator Leahy, to Senator Saunders, and to Representative Welch. 2 of the 3 have responded back through staff and expressed interest in the proposed sale, and have offered to help in any way that they can. But as I said in my letter to the Board of Selectmen of the town of Jamaica, it's important that the Forest Service understands or knows that the town poses no objection to pursuing this process. Of course, it's a lengthy process. It does not end tonight. It may not end for a couple of years, and in fact, after a couple of years, we may not be able to reach an agreement. But tonight, I need to request of the Board of Selectmen that you share with me that you pose no objection to this sale to the Forest Service, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have on that topic.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for presenting, bringing that up. I don't know if immediately anybody has questions here?
I do, but
Sure.
I'm not, no particular order.
Okay, no, I don't have anything immediate right now. Go ahead.
Rob, did Bob Fisher give you a form of resolution or a form of official action that the board needs to take? I'm just curious because in other respects, the board would not be asked to either approve or issue a negative that the board has no objection. Is that?
Yeah. Thank you. That's a good question. The Forest Service provided me and Bob with this format that involves notification of county commissioners, which in this case would be the municipality, and the congressional delegation. I personally do not know whether this is a new format. It may well be, because it's pretty exhaustive. But what Bob did was on the second page of my letter, under the statement, the purpose of this letter is to provide that notification, he wrote the next paragraph. And so that's his paragraph. The USF Forest Service requires notification in which the lands are situate. Please review the matter. Provide the USF and me, that's Bob, with your written approval of the transfer, a copy of the minutes of the motion to approve the conveyance, or a letter from the Board of Selectmen would be very much appreciated. So that's Bob's language that I incorporated into my letter. So I only have to assume that this is the way it is currently being done.
I don't have any technical objection, but there's, you know, Rob, that zoning in Jamaica is limited to our flood zone ordinance. So there's not really a mechanism for the board to approve a transfer, but I can see how we could acknowledge notification and express no objection.
Right.
That seems okay from that paragraph that Bob Fisher wrote for you. Does that sound right, Rob?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I would, in my drafting to Greg, I said the language of posing no objection is perfectly okay. There are a lot of details that have to be attended to here, and I would not expect the board to, approve because of all these details. But if at this stage of the game you pose no objection, you accept that you've been notified and you pose no objection at this stage of the game, that is very appropriate.
I'm fine.
That makes sense to me.
I'm fine
Yeah.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shall I make a motion and then we'll open for discussion?
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay. I make a motion that the board formally acknowledge that it has been notified of the intent of Rob Simmons to convey his parcel to USFS in accordance with the terms of, do I want to say in accordance with the terms of the letter he sent to the board? It is a public record.
Sure.
Okay. As described and in accordance with the description in his letter of September 5th, 2021 to the selectmen of the town of Jamaica, and further that the board expresses no objection to that transfer. Second.
Any further discussion? I think I wholeheartedly agree. I think that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And like you said, it's just the first step or one of the first of many.
Many.
Well, maybe it's the third or fourth step, but it's still many. So,
Early on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Great.
Any opposed? No.
Nope.
Sounds great. Yeah, I mean, we'll expect to stay in touch and hear as it proceeds, and if other things pop up or you need anything more from us or vice versa.
Let us know, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Karen, yeah, generally, sure, questions are fine, yeah. I was gonna say we'll wait till public comment, but this makes logical sense that it's now, yeah.
How does that affect taxes, or tax
Well, that's a
dollars?
very good question, because I actually did ask Terry. I think, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, Terry did look up a little bit. You pay roughly $2,200 in annual property tax. I know much of the property is probably in current use, so that may change what that meant if somebody else bought it, so to speak. But also that the Forest Service does pay us a small percentage of, I mean, in lieu of taxes, we do get a small payment. I mean, small relative to the sense of per acre type of thing relative to private land.
Right.
That's my quick overview. I don't know.
Right, the trade-off is generally viewed as a relatively small loss in tax revenue, but a huge benefit to the town in the sense that it's now under the stewardship of the U.S. Forest Service.
Yeah.
Most municipalities don't object to these kinds of transfers, or like a Vermont land trust easement, or those types of things. It's true, you're absolutely right, it's a diminution in revenue, but not compared overall to the benefit.
I mean, $2,200, and then the continued public access to the property.
Exactly, it becomes an asset of the town, a much greater value asset than a tax generator.
Rob, did you have anything more to add to that?
I will simply thank the board for accommodating my request. I agree entirely with the comments that the property will become an asset to the town for the period of time that I've lived in it, which is over 50 years. I've never posted it. I've encouraged people to enjoy the property. It's a beautiful property. It's been hunted. It's been fished. People have enjoyed it. And my goal was to see if I could find a buyer that would preserve and protect it for future generations. Because it does abut the Ledbetter property, which is, I believe, a total of 1,200 acres in the Forest Service, it adds dramatically to that holding, which is an asset to the town. And for those who have the interest, my property and the Forest Service property is bear habitat. It's documented bear habitat, and so it adds to the value of the property for sustaining the animal life. And I think the Forest Service would be a responsible owner of the property. And so on that basis, I went forward with my decision, and I appreciate receiving this motion from the town.
Super. Sounds
Excellent.
good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is, I believe we have probably several people here from the Southern Vermont Economic Development Corporation. I think I got that right. But here to kind of do, I mean, I think almost annually you guys come in and let us know what you're doing and how you can help us and vice versa and that kind of thing. So take it away.
Good evening. My name is Laura Sibilia, and I'm the Director of Regional Strategies for the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, and I'm joined by my colleague, Iyad Salah, who works as part of our business management, or our business development and support team. And so yes, we are here on behalf of SEVIDS, and which does long-term regional strategies for the Wyndham part of the Southern Vermont zone, which is Wyndham and Bennington County, and BDCC, which implements those strategies and is the regional economic development entity with the Wyndham region. We're here to give you kind of an overview of the different programs that we have and talk with you. We're going to all of our select boards about what we've been doing with municipal resources that voters have appropriated at town meeting. We will once again be asking you to consider either including us in your budget or as a warrant item. I will stop there and ask you, how much time would you, because we can talk about programs and the regional economy for an extended period of time.
I'm sure.
So how much time would you like us to put this into? What would feel reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very great question. And I don't want to hog up the answer. 10, 15 minutes? I mean, does that sound reasonable? I mean,
Yeah.
want you guys to be able to say what you want to say, but we also don't want to drag on
Right,
too much.
and with a focus on what you think is particularly applicable to Jamaica.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
So with our, and Yad's going to go over our business programs and our all of our programs actually, but we have a very heavy focus at BDCC through our regional strategy on developing the workforce, the infrastructure for vital downtowns and villages, and supporting small businesses. And so the workforce is probably one of the ways that we most immediately have impacted Jamaica. We work with all of your students in the local high schools, Leland and Gray, and Aid will talk a little bit about that. But Aid, take it away, and then I'm here to answer any other questions that Aid can.
Good evening, and thank you for your time, and thank you for allowing us to be here, actually. My name is Iyad Salha, and I'm a Business Technical Assistance Provider at BDCC. What I do actually is I work with small business owners and entrepreneurs. I help them develop their business plans, marketing plans, and all that goes into business. I also help them get access to relief funds from states and federal programs. I'm currently working on developing some workshops actually to help support business owners to better understand their financials and what kind of information they can pull out their financial statements. That is a quick preview of what I do. I'm going to go over some of the programs that we have at BDCC. As Laura mentioned, that Sabit leads with the strategies and BDCC implement those strategies. So we have different programs, starting with P3 programs that Laura just quickly rolled over. It's called Pathways and Pipelines programs, which help students get ready to be part of the workforce. The programs usually help students with mock interviews. They also develop professionalism workshops, as they call them, to get them familiar with the terms and all that stuff. They also have field trips to different organizations around the region to prepare them to see what kind of careers there are in the region. We also have a program, one second, sorry.
And I would just add really quickly on the P3 program, we know that this program, our kids, they may choose to go elsewhere. I have 3 kids myself, but we might like them to stay or we might like them to come back. And so we want them to understand what is here, what the economy is like here, what the jobs are like here, and how you can get the training. So that's what that P3, kind of a big macro level is.
And that was the last point, which is career awareness, letting them know what is available here. That program has tons of activities. The last ones at least was providing activity to the winners of the activity. I don't have the terms of what the activity was a couple of scholarships worth of $500 for winners. That is overview of the P3 programs. We also have the workforce development program, which actually is like 3 different programs included all together. Starting with the BDCC Workforce Excellence Center, which provide fundings and help develop and run training programs to better equip the workforce with skills that is needed currently. We also have the Southern Vermont Young Professionals, which is a program that is mainly focused on networking young professionals in Vermont. They have different types of workshops. Currently, they are running a workshop for new homeowners, how to buy new homes and what things to look for. And they recently actually acquired a scholarship to help professional development. So if someone is looking for professional development, they can apply for a scholarship and funds will be supplied, which is nice to help grow careers in Vermont. We have also the program that focuses on attracting and retaining people in Vermont, which is very necessary because the population is in decline and aging, so we need to attract new people, and the program is called Welcome Wagon. I don't have tons of information about the Welcome Wagon, but they do a lot of activities about to gather all different people, and they provide them with resources in Vermont, like plumbers, information, electricians, so they feel welcomed and part of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I don't know if you folks get the newsletter from BDCC, but in there we have a link for the Welcome Wagon and an opportunity for folks to volunteer as hosts for new people that are here in the region, and also for new people to kind of self-select in, like we'd like to be matched with someone, so I'm sure someone here gets that newsletter, and if not, we can send it, and so there's always a link in there to that.
I actually went through the Welcome Wagon program and it's awesome. So,
Great.
I mean, it's just
There
a
we go.
passive endorsement.
Thank you. And we also know Sarah Lang that works on some of Vermont's economy programs. She helps towns and nonprofits to get the funds that they need to run their towns or whatever they're trying to achieve. That's one of the very big programs that we have actually. And I'm going to talk about the business service team that I belong to. During COVID, BDCC helped over 500 organizations access relief funds. During that period of time of 1 year, we realized that we need to expand our service team to support those businesses. And that's why I'm here actually today, that BDCC created 2 extra jobs in the business team. It was 1 person running the whole program, now we are 3 people running the program. Capturing what we do is, again, I personally work with entrepreneurs and small businesses. RT, my director of business service, work with growing businesses, help them with succession planning and growing planning. Gabriel is focused on community facilities, which is part, I guess, with what you do as well. He helps towns get access to funds for libraries, town halls, and all of that. We also expanded our lending programs, so business owners who cannot get funds from traditional lenders like banks and all financial institutions, we are their last resource. They will come to us. We are known as mission mission-focused lenders. So we are focused on those people who cannot acquire money to run their business or start their business. They come to us. We used to have 1 program called WICIDIP, or what we call WICIDIP, which is Windham County Economic Development Program, but now we have 2 extra programs. One is through SBA, Small Business Administration, and the second is USDA. The business team is currently working on developing some business plan competition, which the winner will receive a prize of $10,000 that goes directly into their business, plus other rewards from Amazon and all of that. We also, I'm currently, as I mentioned before, I'm currently working on developing a workshop to help support those small businesses. During the past year, we supported 13 businesses in Jamaica access to PPP loans, totaling around $418,000. Those 13 businesses employ around 31 employees, and there was 1 additional company that employs 29 people. They received also PPP loan with amount between $150,000 to $300,000. We also work with 2 businesses in Jamaica to receive Restart Vermont technical assistance, which is through us. The amount is up to $4,000 for two of the businesses that they apply. That's the general idea of what we do and what we are planning to do in the future. I'm happy to answer any questions.
And I will add just one more thing, which is Ian is doing one of the great things that the group at BDCC does, I think, is adding capacity and helping connect. We're not going to have huge economic development entities in each town because we're little rural towns, right? So how do we develop kind of a shared knowledge and the ability to act at least in awareness of one another and what is happening regionally, if not together. And Jan has actually been developing a great series of blogs for small businesses, just some knowledge resources that are out there that we're able to share with our businesses that I'm enjoying, including in our newsletter. So.
And I also have to add that I'm currently working with over 30 entrepreneurs and small businesses across the region, supporting them with all that they need to run their businesses. As Laura mentioned, SOUTS requires funding from all 27 towns in the region.
Request.
Last year we received funds from 16 towns that represent around 82% of the Wyndham's population.
Yes. So, very good.
Did you have a question?
Well, I was, obviously, we're not right at the point where we're making our budget. That's closer to the end of the year, and then, of course, it's still a couple months after that before. So do you come back with a specific request? How does,
So we can follow up in whatever way you would like. We have petitioned in some towns in the past. It takes our staff, it'll literally be Eon out at your post office instead of helping small businesses, getting signatures. And we've done it in a number of towns. So getting an indication from you as to whether or not you might consider making us a separately warned article for town meeting, because we will always come to town meeting anyway to defend and explain. We think it's important, or including us in your budget. An indication of that would be helpful, so that we're maybe not collecting signatures in the ice storms, if possible.
right.
Yeah. So our policy, because we haven't funded you before, is that we do need it to be petitioned. I'm not quite sure though if we could still put it on as a separate warning, but a separate article. But we're not able to just write it into the budget because we all feel it's a great thing.
Right.
And I think there's probably a lot of partners in town that could help with the petition process. I mean, it's not necessarily wouldn't have it fall just onto one person running up and down the street. I mean, there's a lot of small businesses that may want to help out too, or but that's my quick take.
Right. And is there, so when the petition or a request for a warrant item, it would have some detail around it? I guess what my question is simply that this all sounds great, but I would normally think, okay, we want this much money and it's going to support the work for development, because we want to achieve these 5 goals for Jamaica. Something,
You will or you should have. I don't know if you've gotten it or if you will get it, but we send out a letter to every municipality that we serve in the region, and we ask for $3 per person. And so for Jamaica, that's $31.05, I believe. And if you do not support that, you are still going to have access to our services. But that municipal support is leveraged over and over and over again that we do receive throughout the region to bring in additional programming. So if you don't have the letter, you will get the letter.
Well, I apologize. I think we might have that letter already, and it escaped me.
Per person, yeah.
You remember
I
the
think
figure?
Sarah had attached it,
Funding letter,
maybe
yeah.
Was it
through the
attached to the
shuffles of
email?
forwarding and stuff and responding.
Yeah.
Right, but I personally will
Maybe
track it down for
July
sure for
12th.
myself.
And we will follow.
July
up.
12th.
But we also, and the funding is really important, and thank you for taking time to talk about that. But, the working together and building this capacity regionally is also, that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing it. So we really appreciate the time to come and talk to you. We can come and talk to you at any time about programs or resources or assistance that we might be able to provide your residents who work in the region or businesses.
So we also, there's privately managed as a Jamaica newsletter. Are you aware of the Jamaica newsletter?
I don't know if I am aware of the Jamaican newsletter.
Because she has quite a subscription, and so one of us can get the.
Yeah.
There's a link.
It's not
There's
part
a
of it,
link
it's
on-
not affiliated officially with
Right.
the town, but it's a great community resource.
To the extent you're looking to, push out some more information about the program. There's a link on our website, on the town website.
Okay.
To the newsletter. And so that's just we do have an audience to our select board meetings, but I would endeavor to say there might be more people who would be interested in availing themselves of your services that might be reading the newsletter.
Yeah, and I know, I totally agree with, I mean, there's no possibility in the world that a town our size, less than 1,000 people, is gonna be able to build up an economic development foundation or something like that, so to be able to regionalize these things makes total sense.
Yeah.
And make sure we have tools that are useful also.
Yeah.
One aspect, and you may know more about this, and I apologize for not having more details, but someone said to me today as we were preparing, I think Jamaica with the mill building may have had some interest in a community facilities.
We had met with, and I can't remember his name.
RT or Gabriel?
RT, yes. And just did a preliminary walkthrough of what a lot of it was conceptual. We were really in the early stages of things.
Okay.
It's a historic building that has been, a nonprofit has kind of formed to build the community aspect to utilize this building, but it was all within a year, within 6 months prior to COVID, and everybody went, blah, blah, blah. So we really haven't come back to it, but I still think there's a great opportunity there. It would be, starting with a clean slate almost, other than the fact that we have a historic structure.
And that community facilities program, as you may recall, it really, it will help you put together the resources to kind of develop a plan.
Like a business plan type thing.
Yeah, and to attract other resources to the development of that. So it's kind of your, planning, it's like almost like a planning grant, except from, some.
Yeah, it's something that I think we should swing back to.
Yeah. Looks like maybe we're going to do.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Something else.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? That's wonderful. We can talk
That's
more
very
about but I think we
Process.
still need to walk through that
Yeah.
petition process. I understand too, that we don't want to draw resources just to draw away resources, but, look for ways that we can help out and that kind of thing.
Okay, great. Would you maybe consider having a petition at the town hall? I don't even know if that's a reasonable request, like the town office or something like that.
Is that legal?
I'm not sure about the legal side,
Okay.
but that's something we can look into
But we
it.
can,
But there's enough business partners, I use that
Yeah.
loosely, but business, I think there's enough locations in the area that we could get that information out.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. We're gonna leave now, though.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah.
As it is to be.
Oh, right, exactly.
It is a weeknight.
Thanks for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for yours.
Sounds like a
Thank you.
wonderful.
Yes.
I need this. Yeah, I was going to be around.
Do you have a card on you?
In my car.
No. Thank you.
Okay. The next item on our agenda, as you know, the last meeting, we kind of discussed and set the date for the revote of our retail cannabis sales and legalization, or not legal, legalization. But we now need to officially sign the warning so that we can post that, get it into all the appropriate locations. We all kind of messed a little bit on that one. But also then to set a date as required. This needs to be done at a special town meeting, at an annual or a special town meeting, and it also as part of that needs to have an informational meeting, so we need to set the date for that. The date for our vote, we had set last meeting for October 19th, and I don't know if officially, should I read the warning? I know we floated through all of us, just for the public record. I'll read it, I can read it in a few minutes. Shall the legal voters of the town of Jamaica and the county of Wyndham are hereby notified and warned to meet at the town office in Jamaica on October 19th, 2021, between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. to transact the following business by Australian ballot. Article number 1. shall the town of Jamaica authorize cannabis retailers in the town of Jamaica pursuant to 7 V.S.A. 683?
No, section 863.
Section 863, yeah, without dyslexia. Article number 2, shall the town of Jamaica authorize cannabis integrated licenses in the town of Jamaica pursuant to 7 V.S.A. section 863? So, and then that the polls would be open from 9 to 7, I guess that's stated, so. And then we're basically separating 2 articles that had previously been voted on to get a little bit clearer indication of what the town is interested in doing. And so stepping back just a little bit, the board feels that this is a town decision and we want to be able to put it out to the town, get a feel for what the population feels. And that's what we're moving toward.
Want me to make a motion or?
Sure.
I move that the select board approve the warning as read by our chair and to set the date for the special meeting as October 19, 2021.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, so this will be our official warning. We'll get that into all the places it needs to be. The other part of the agenda item was to set the date for the informational meeting. This is a public meeting where, because this is technically a town meeting, but because it's an Australian ballot, we don't have time to discuss or talk or hear different views and things like that. We will set a special, an informational meeting. I propose that we set it for the prior Thursday, which I got it written down here.
14th.
The 14th. At 7 o'clock, and I'm also thinking that we should have it at the town hall, as long as COVID allows us to do that, and to have it moderated and run as a town meeting. Paul?
Is there a statutory amount of time between the meeting and the vote?
10 days.
10 days.
10 days.
At minimum.
Minimum of 10 days, so you only got,
Yeah, there's 5.
it's not enough.
No, not, or maximum.
Maximum,
Maximum. I meant to say the maximum. So
No,
it
no.
cannot be more than 10 days prior to
I
that.
don't think, I'd have to look back, but I don't think there's a minimum, except maybe it can't be less than a day, maybe.
In my head, I was thinking 5 and 10, but I don't remember.
I can't
No, it's 10. It has to be 10 days before the vote.
No, a minimum, it can't be like the same day,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's,
Yeah.
yeah, I forget, but yeah.
And it can't be a month before the vote. It
Right.
has to be no more than 10 days before the vote.
Yeah. Any
So
other?
I'll make a motion that we set the informational meeting for Thursday, October 14th at 7 PM in the town hall.
I second the motion.
Any further discussion to that? All in favor?
Oh, you won't be
I won't
there?
be here, and I'll be out of town.
Well, probably, will it be remote as well?
We could
We can do.
set that up.
Would you want to dial in? Would you dial in? What are you gonna be, like in
My son
Bermuda or
in
something?
Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is it
I
still
mean,
okay, or
Are you
did you
still
run in?
okay? Yeah. Good.
well, I mean, if I'm not required to be here, I just.
Not
No,
required,
there's no
no.
quorum, there's no quorum.
I
Yeah.
doubt that I would attend.
Okay. Okay.
We have limited time visiting our son, so
Yeah.
Chicago.
Okay, and we do have to have it within that window
We'll see.
to the vote, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'll be gone the 12th to the 16th, so, I mean, I don't know how important my presence is, but, I mean, I'd like to do my duty.
Think of it as more than, I mean, do your duties wonderful, but if you really want to participate, I mean, not everybody can be at every meeting, I think.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay, so still comfortable with the.
You're still okay with the date though, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
Okay.
just
Yeah,
make
that's really what we're asking, are you
sure.
okay with the date?
No, we're not pressuring you, but
Because
you
we'll
need to
talk,
be
I mean,
there.
we'll
Cancel
talk
your
about it
plans.
if you,
No.
yeah.
No, that's okay.
All right,
Yeah.
So, all in favor, did we already,
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if the discussion was in between.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have our special,
All
our
in favor?
informational
We
meeting.
didn't take a vote.
Oh,
did
we hadn't yet, okay.
We didn't take
I
a
thought
vote.
we said.
Yeah,
I
because,
didn't
you know,
think so.
Kate threw a wrench.
I didn't
in the
think
works.
so.
Just
No.
anything.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The 14th, that's the date, thank
Yeah.
you. So that we will set our informational meeting, and I'll check in with Greg Jolly too, as far as moderating.
Yes.
the meeting.
Yeah, that would be
And we'll get the
good.
word out on that, so we can have all kinds of participants. Information is good. All right, next item, Anne had come to me and asked if she could just give an update at the board meeting. She then today said that she wasn't able to make it, but she would send me she would send me something to bring forward, but she hadn't as of the meeting start. So we'll put her on for the next. She wants to be able to make regular updates as how things are going with the school board, which is wonderful. She thought maybe once quarterly even, unless something else popped up. But she felt that there was significant stuff to talk about now, but we'll put it on for next week.
Next
Yeah,
2 weeks.
so we'll put
Oh,
that on
that's
for 2 weeks.
wonderful that she's.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Great that she's stepped up and she's on the board and that we can stay informed, because there's,
Yeah,
I mean, the school portion of our community is huge.
community and budget.
Yeah, right. Okay, next item, public concerns. We'll open to the public. I don't know, we go, blah, blah, blah. Any?
Hello, Jacob Deutsch from West River Valley Thrives again. I just want to say that the Youth Cannabis Conference sponsored by Vermont Department of Health, that I am on the advisory council for, has been moved completely virtual, which means it is far more accessible for everybody now. Disappointing it's not in the capital, but it is virtual, and that is the 23rd. So I just wanted to formally invite everybody here to that. There's going to be information for towns and communities that both decide to pass and not pass Act 164 laws, and just general ideas for towns who do pass and how to make sure that youth prevention is kept in mind, and just all kinds of good details and morsels to know. And there will be a full agenda for that also, so I can email that all to you so you can pick and choose what you might want to come to. It's completely free.
Is it September 23rd or October?
September.
Okay,
Yeah, it just got moved virtual last week.
okay.
So it was a split minute decision from Department of Health to move it virtual. So, but that means everybody can go now. So it's much easier. So I just wanted to formally, kind of perfect timing with when the vote is, provide access and information about that to all of you prior to the vote and the information meeting.
Right.
So I can send you an email with all the info following up later.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, again, more information, the better.
Better.
Yeah.
Will you be joining the information meeting?
I will.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I will definitely.
I know you had mentioned it earlier, but just,
Yeah, I will be at the info meeting.
Great.
All right, thank you. Karen, did you have anything?
Yeah.
No?
I was just calling.
Oh, great, thank you. Yeah, Paul?
I just came to see Karen.
Okay. Okay, great. Half the time you never get a chance to see her anymore.
Hardly ever anymore. It's a hole in my day.
She's just as busy, she's just not in one place anymore.
I'm on miles at a time.
She's harder to
A
find.
hard target to find.
Well, if, we will go through our administrative portion of the meeting to sign off on things, but if there's nothing, no additional comments, public, anything like that, motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay.
Kate can second, and they all approved,
Approved?
and we're adjourned.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.